Okay, good afternoon. We're going to touch on actually a video that Agatha May just put out, and it was about Nick from Soiled Mock, and I'm going to actually piggyback on that video. It's something that she had mentioned within the video on how the men of Soiled Mock treat their women, forced submission, which really and truthfully is slavery. So we're going to touch on that right now. Now, submission, or submitting to your husband, rather. Submission is different. To be submissive. When a Christian woman submits according to the word to her husband, she's doing it through love. She's doing it through free will. She's doing it because her husband is loving her according to what the word says. He's treating her the way Jesus treated the church. He's treating her with love and respect. Now, a man that does that is usually a man who's confident and secure in his own manhood and his own masculinity. He has respect for himself. So because he has respect for himself, he's able to also respect her. But if you're a Christian, mixed with that, you also respect the word of God and follow it according to what it says. So now we're going to go over that, including the law. Okay? So first of all, another thing that needs to be touched on, and this is some unsaved people who for the first time pick up the Bible, they cherry pick a couple of Old Testament scriptures that mention slavery, and then they go off on this crying jag that God and the Word of God support slavery. You're incorrect. You didn't read the word properly. You took it out of context like most people do when they're not saved, because you don't understand the author. But anyway, so we're going to touch on that right now. In ancient times, slavery was a common practice. Let me stop right there. When you're a Christian, a real one, and you have discernment, you know what time and season you're in. I've said that before. That's for the men too. It's for everybody that claims to be a Christian. The institution of slavery was regulated by laws and codes. Biblical laws emphasize humane treatment of slaves, prohibiting physical harm, forced labor, and sexual exploitation. Now, where can you find that? If you really want to read the word, find it. It's in Leviticus 25:39-43, Deuteronomy 23:15-16. And since you feel that God and the Word of God supports slavery and you made that accusation, you can go read that for yourself. Okay, now in regards to slavery, what does the law say? Or what, actually, let's start here. What does the Word of God say about the law? 1 Peter 2:13-17 basically is saying, submit yourselves to every ordinance, which is a law, king and governor. Okay, so it's saying that we're to obey the laws of the land. Now, obviously, slavery is unlawful if you knew the law. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. The 14th Amendment is equal protection under the law, yes, for former slaves, but is also including women. If you look at Title, I think it's 9 of the Education Amendments of 1972, that's included. I have that through the U.S. courts website, and I will actually add that to the chat so you can read it for yourself. Women are protected under the law, and so are their rights. So you cannot enslave them. Now, what does the word say? Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for we are all one in Jesus Christ. I don't know how much more clear you can get that. As I said, when a Christian man follows the word of God and loves the woman in his life, or the women in his life, but the woman, the wife, the way Jesus loved the church, and is secure in his manhood, secure in who he is, secure in his masculinity, and respects himself, he's able to love and respect the woman in his life, the wife. In turn, through her free will, and instinctually, she's going to want to submit the way a Christian wife would submit to her husband. not like a slave. Okay? It says in the word equal. Okay? Everybody takes their part in the marriage, in the relationship. So, once again, Soiled Mock twists the word to support a narrative that is unbiblical and unlawful, whether it be through coercion or physical, or both, it doesn't matter. If it's through manipulation, that if she doesn't do what you want, you're going to put her into a mental institution. You're going to punish her by taking away her money. I'm sorry, but that's not biblical. Okay? That's enslavement. And there's nothing in the word that supports it. So I made that point, right? All right. Now let's move on to something that needs to be mentioned. There's a content creator out there who keeps insisting on digging their heels in the initial Robeson County's findings of the cause of death for Micah. Now, if that were the only thing that was ever mentioned about it, and no other proof, no other suspicion came up, I'd say, okay. Now, mainstream will stick with that until there's a change. And there have been many times throughout the history where a death certificate, cause of death, is changed after an investigation. May 13th, I guess people need to be reminded, content creators, May 13th, Robeson County made an announcement. This is after they had, through their investigation, found her cause of death to be that she did this to herself. Shortly after, on May 13th, they made the announcement that they requested the FBI and the Attorney General's office to get involved with investigating her passing. They didn't say investigate Soiled Mock's finances. They didn't say anything to investigate that has to do with South Carolina, because they're not South Carolina, they're North Carolina. They have nothing to do with an investigation that's going on in South Carolina, although they may be connected. If Robeson County is requesting, that sheriff's department is requesting assistance, it's in Micah's passing. That's it. Because that's the only role that Robeson County plays in all this. That's the only reason they would have to request the assistance of the FBI and the Attorney General's office. But when somebody is out there calling themselves a content creator and seems to gloss over that announcement and all the suspicion that's gone along with it, and keeps digging their heels in the same narrative that J.P. Miller keeps pushing, you gotta kind of say, why? Why? Just food for thought. Anyhow, I'm sure something else will come up, and until then, I will see you soon, and God bless.